Today we will cover inshallah, and today is the sixth lecture in DDCDP 2023. Yesterday we had to cover these, but then we went into details of images in HTML, so it was quite a lengthy lecture. So what we will cover today is CSS flex box, and then we will create a sample product page for an e-commerce website as well, some t-shirts. Before all this, let us install one of the extensions for live reloading. So we'll search some extension. Live server, it has the most downloads. Can you guys hear me? Oh, I just forgot it. Is this fine now? Okay, so in VS Code extensions, click on this tab and we will search for live server. It has 43.1 million downloads, just imagine. So we'll just install it. It will actually be pretending to be a server for us. Server, we will study it in details once we go to Java, PHP or Drupal. But for now, just we have been serving our HTML pages within the browser by just clicking on the HTML page and open in Chrome. But now it will be like a server sends that output to us. So it has some advantages. One of them is live reloading. So for example, if I open our folder for the training, or create a file flex.html, that's it. So if I right click on it and open with live server, so now this page is being served. You can guess the from the URL also. It has 127.001 something like this, and then the images folder and the flex.html. We probably have created the flex.html inside the images folder. We need it in the root. Let us create another one, and then we will just add some now. I will just click on open with live server. So just close the previous one. Okay, so for example, if I type p here, hello, and save it, we will see hello without refreshing it. So that's one of the rather the main advantages of live server for now. So if I create, for example, an h2 tag, flex box, for example, so you can instantly see flex box here. So I don't need to refresh the browser like I used to do in the first 5 or 6 lectures. Got it? This will save us some time. Okay. We'll be practicing a lot of stuff in Flexbox, so get ready. I will create a div, class is equal to parent1, and then we'll create some divs, class is equal to child, okay. So we have a container which is parent1, and then we have few children, and in it we will have some paragraphs for now. So as soon as I save it, I can see all the paragraphs here. Is it clear? So we have a parent, one wrapper, and then 5 children, and each of them has a class of child for now. In the head we will add a style tag here, dot parent1, we are going to make it flex, display flex. So immediately you can see some difference in the layout. It is now all of the divs are in. Let us give some background color also to the child. Clear? And to the parent we will give it some width of, initially I am going some fixed width, then I will explain why flexible widths are more beneficial for us. So it's 960 pixels width, margin 0, auto means I need it to be in the center, and for now I am going to give some height also for it, and the background color is red. So the width is 960 pixels. If I make it full width, how many of you have studied or practiced flex before? Why is red color not visible? Yeah, so what's that property which is making it occupied by the children? No. Okay, I'll tell you. For example, justify dash content is one of the properties which you give to the parent. Okay, justify dash content, it has many values. So this one is stretch, by default it is stretch. So if we make it flex dash start, yeah, just hold on please. Okay, so we have given the width of 100 to each of the child elements for now. It's actually behaving as stretch, so I'm just going to diagnose it. Why is it doing so? It should be just towards I mean up to this point. Something wrong is happening. What is Google? Yeah, I was confused about this. So align dash items flex start, that's I was searching for. Let us remove this one for now. Okay, so previously everything was yellow because all of these columns, even if they are just one line, they were stretching to the bottom to the bottom of the container. And this used to be a huge problem in floats previously. JavaScript libraries would be used to make equal column layouts, but it's so easy with Flexbox. The align items property makes by default it is stretch. TCH. So now I just, as an habit, I am refreshing things, but it was already there. The columns are stretching in equal heights to the bottom of the container. So if you want all the columns of the in a grid as of the same size, what you will do is, you don't need to specify this because this is default, but still you should know. For example, if I want the align items to be in the center, so the columns then will be in the center of the design of the wrapper. If they are to the bottom, if you need, for some reason there is a design which asks you to actually use all the columns to the bottom of the container, then you will use flex dash end like this. And again question, if I want all of them to be covering the parent container, then what I will do, Shabas, either remove this altogether like this, or the stretch is actually the you can provide align item stretch property. Is this fine? Okay. The next thing is justify dash content. So for example, if I want all the columns to be in the center, you can make it centered like this. If you want all the columns to be on the end, so flex end. And if you want the columns to be distributed evenly, space around, space between, and space evenly. These are three properties. Around makes, let us first use around. So around gives this space in before the first column also, here after the first column, and then after before the second column. So space, overall the space doesn't look evenly. For example, the first and the last will have lesser space, and then the ones between will have more space. What that is leading us to, if in case you need space both on the same space on the left as well as on the right, in that case you will use space evenly. So now all of the spaces have been divided evenly by the browser before and after the columns. Is this clear? Another one is, which is mostly used, is space between. So space between does is, this probably is the mostly used one. So the first one will not have any space before it, and the last one won't have any space after it, and in between the columns there will be space. So the red one is actually the space. Is this clear? Okay, now if I say, if I for example double the number of columns, these columns. Now we have 10 divs, and I refresh the page. All of these columns are still on the same line. Can anybody tell me why is it so? I mean, if we now give say 20 columns also, they will be in the on the same line. Yes, but I want, for example, let me rephrase my question. I want, say, 3 columns in a row, and the rest ones should go to the second line. In that case, for example, now we have 4 and 4, 10 children. I want 3 of them to be in the. So what I need is flex dash wrap. This means that this property flex dash wrap will wrap means it will move the rest of the columns to the second line, and if there are more on the second line also, then it will move it to the third line. So if I refresh it, five, 6, 7, 8. Can anybody tell me why is it still not? It has come down here. Yeah. Yes, yes. Yes, you are right. It's percentage, but we will come back to the percentages. Actually, there is a concept I want to make cleared in this fixed width for now. We both have fixed width here also and here also. Okay. So we have 10 columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. Total of 10 columns, and they are wrapping properly now. Actually, we were not giving the P, the basis P here. I will remove the gap for now, and I will make the justify content flex start. Okay, so the center is more. Is this clear now? So these are 4 columns, 4 and 2. If you need a column, because data will be coming from the database, you don't know actually how many columns will be there. I mean, how many boxes will be there. say it can be 10, 12, 20 or whatever. So your property should be flex box wrap. If I remove it, so all the columns will show up in the same line. This makes it look ugly. But if you give it a flex wrap of wrap, then it will move the, what actually it will do is it will calculate its width. For example, flex basis is the width. So 200, 200, 200, 200. The total width is 960. Now another 200 can't be allocated to this row. So it will move itself to the second line. Similarly here 200, 200, 200, 200. Again it doesn't have any space, so it will move itself to the bottom. If we give it a gap of 10, so now actually this is a property for both the column as well as the rows. So it will get space between the columns also and the rows also. So this makes it look better than previously when we were not wrapping stuff. Is it fine? Okay, now let us, for some reason, this height to the wrapper, flex wrapper, is because of some demonstration only, because we needed to demonstrate it. I now want to, for example, reduce the size 100, let us, so it is visible, and the width to, say, for example, 660. So how many can now come in one row? Just some calculation. 100 pixel is the width of the column, and we have a wrapper of 660. Quickly let me know. Probably 5 or 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4 of them are on the second line. But we want to reduce the height of the increase the height of the to 1200 for now, and increase it to 300. Now, sorry, we should increase it to 960. Is this clear? We have 300 pixel flex basis columns, and the height of the div is this. Let us give some height for now to yes, this is what I wanted actually. And reduce it to 900. Okay, now the question is, I want all of these boxes to be centered vertically also in this red wrapper. What's the property? Anybody? I want all of these rows to be centered in the red wrapper. It will do it. Let's do it. It will have an impact only. It already is centered horizontally, not vertically. Oh, okay. So align items center. Let me give this center. Align items. It has no impact. Shabas. In your real world layouts, you will have this problem. I mean, your mind will let you say this align item center, it will be centered, but it won't get centered. So the properties, yes, good, Shabas. Align content center. When does align content come into play? When you have more than one row. When you have more than one row. For example, if there are if something is not wrapping, let me rephrase it. If something is not wrapping, means it is not going to the second or third or fourth line, then align content does not have any impact. But if there are more than one lines, because we are using the flex wrap property, if there are more than one lines of boxes, then this property comes into play. So now it's centered. You can see there is space below and after all of these elements. Is this fine? Okay, so if I want it to be at the bottom of the screen, so we can make align content. Flex end. So now it's on the bottom of the, and the top is empty. Is this fine? So we have, let us recap, because all of these need some practice and they are confusing. We have used justify content, so it will horizontally center things. Okay. Align items, this has effect only if there are no wrappings involved, or when there is only one line of boxes. Let us practice it for now. And this one, align content, it has impact only if the boxes or columns flow to the next line because of this wrap property. So it won't have any effect on one line of columns. It will have effect on only one line of columns, and this is only for the horizontal centering. So let us practice align items. The difference between align item and align content, this is very tricky. So let us remove 3, for example. We will just leave 3 columns for now and save. Remove this. So this is these 3 are in the same, they are centered because there is space on the left and space on the last, after the last one, because of this property justify this content center. If I make it flex start, so where it will be, Shabas? At the very edge of the container. If it is on the right, we'll make it flex end, save it, so it's now on the right one edge. And if it is centered, so it is going to be centered. Is this fine? Now this is the container. Let us reduce the size of the container a bit so that we don't have to vertically scroll. Okay, now I want these 3 boxes to be in the center of the red content. This is main axis. The horizontal one is known as main axis and the vertical one is known as cross axis. So across the cross axis, I will align dash items. What will be its center? So it's now in the center. But if the line flows, if there is second line means, let me just copy 2 more. Okay. One, make it centered. It won't reduce this space between the lines. This space, overall they will be centered, but yeah, exactly. So here only align dash content, and it will be center. So it's fine now. To reduce the space between the lines, you will have to use align dash content, and centering will work then. And align items will just overall make it either center or start, but the gap won't be reduced. Is this fine now? Any questions? Exactly. Yeah, probably. It will work. You mean here? Let's write align content. Do you want something like this? This is centered, so we'll make it this is fine. It's very flexible, that's why it's called flexible. And flex layout actually, better than how we used to do it some years back, like 10 years, 5 years, not 5 years but 10 to 12 years back. That achieving such layouts was very tough. Now it's very easy. It's just the matter of playing with these values and getting your head around it. That's the point. And if you don't practice it, it actually, I mean, you will forget values, but at least you should have everything in mind how to play with it. There is a game, flex game, for practice something. This is flexbox froggy, flexboxfroggy.com. So for example, it will ask you something and you will have to use some CSS property for flex, so that use justify content again to help these frogs get to their lily pads. On the first slide. Okay, question is, welcome to this, where for example justify content selection will limit the, so this is how you will practice frogs movement. Okay, now the yellow one should go to this one and the green one go to its own. So what will you do? Any question answer? So they are there. You can practice all these, so hopefully all your skills will be improved. Okay, help all these frogs find their lily pads just by using justify content. This time the lily pads have lots of space around them. So justify dash content, space around or evenly, around will work. Good. So you can practice your flexbox skills via flexbox froggy, right? Okay, come back to the, because we have got a lot of things to cover now. Yes, flex basis actually is the width in flexbox. You can call it the width in flexbox. I have a screenshot also how different it is from I will share it with you. Sorry, this I will share it with you later on, but it actually is the width and it has some differences from the width. Okay, so now There are very important properties we need to mention in flexbox, because we have given it now a flexbox basis of in fixed weights, right? But we want it to be percentages. So for this very purpose, I actually need to, let us create another div, parent2. We will call it parent2. Parent2, and remove these three. In CSS, I will call parent2. Most of the CSS will be the same, so let us copy this. Call it parent2. Let us give it a background of blue, for example, and justify content. Leave all of this content for now. No wrap, and the gap. We'll make the width say 80%. You can give viewport width also, but for now just 80% is fine. And we will give dot parent to dot child background color of yellow. It's again the same. Why is it stretching to the parent? Because align dash items is not flex end for now, so we will make it flex end. What was that property? Align dash items height is 500, background color is blue, yellow. Why is it still not coming? What was the initial? Again I am forgetting that value, which was actually stretch. Anyone? We are giving it to the child, and you guys are not letting me know. Is this fine now? The problem was we were giving this property to the, or we will make it flex dash end, and we will give it a width of say 100. Flex dash basis 100 pixels, not 100, 200 pixels. Flex dash start, let us make it flex start, and a gap of 10 pixels. Okay, so we have 3 columns, this one, this one, this one, and they have a gap of 10 pixels. Now I will make the parent say 80%, so the flex basis will be say 30%, 33% or 30%. Okay, now the widths of the column have increased, so these are now 33%. If we make it 33% and remove the gap for now, now a quiz question for you: how can we make some space in it without the gap property? Exactly. Space evenly or space between. So justify dash content, space between is the best one for now, and let us give this div a margin top of say 100 pixels, so that is okay. So this is that space now between the two columns. Is this okay? Okay. Now I will give 3 more classes. Child 1, so I will 1, give it a class of 1, this will be 2, this will be 3. If I refresh it, nothing will happen because we haven't yet given any CSS against them. So we will here dot parent 2 dot 2 for now. We will give a property of flex dash grow 2. It has no unit, and the same for dot parent 2 dot 1, it is 1, and this one, the 3 one, it has 1. So in the parent 2, the 1 class, we are giving it a flex grow of 1, the 2 has 2 and the 3 has 3. Now we haven't yet given it any flex basis for now, but if I refresh it, let us give it a gap of 1 also. Thank you. Is it clear now? So we have still the 5% gap, and we have these 3 columns. If we are growing it, let us give it fixed value of say 200 for now. Okay, do you see any difference between the sizes of the second and the first and third one? So if, for example, if I remove these properties for now, just I will comment out these. What is the shortcut for comments in Visual Studio Code? Anybody? Okay. Control / okay. This is we have given the fixed width of flex basis 200. Okay, and the whole container is 80%. Container is 80%, and there are just 3 columns with 200 pixels width or flex basis. So this is also 200. This is 200. This is 200. There is this extra space. So the purpose is that we should distribute this space according to certain values, whatever is the actual flex basis of it. So we want this space to be distributed by the second div by 2, and the first and the third one by 1. So it will distribute it in this ratio. So for example, this one is, the first one should take 1, the second one should take 2 of the, this is just like inheritance in for example, somebody will take 2%, 2 times of the 1 or whatever. So for example, if there is some free space, just like here, this one should take twice of that free space. This one should take 1. This one should take 1. So this is done via flex grow property. Just like the name, it should grow by 2. So even if its width is 200 pixel, it will have twice this of this free space than this one. It has also increased. It is now more than 100, 200. This one also, the third one, but the center one is more than the first and the third, just because of its more grow property. If we make it, for example, 4, now even further. Do you get it? Any confusion? So for example, we have a website with a layout of left sidebar, right sidebar, and the center content. So this can be the one of the ways we can achieve it. We will give some percentage value or fixed value, and then these two, this will occupy the so if I increase, for example, the control minus, again this is with the same proportion, control minus, control plus. So on larger screens it will also take 4 times more the second div than the first and the second. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
And similarly with shrinks, there is another property which is known as flex dash shrink. So for example, on mobile screens I want the same div which has more space on the desktop to be shrinking more than the others, and flex dash shrink, say 1, flex dash shrink 1. The flex shrink 4 I have given to the flex grow property, the parent 2, the 2 div, and 1 to this. So let us now check how it behaves. By shrinking, it means if there is a smaller screen, that's what shrinking means. For example, it's now a desktop, so if I move, first it will reduce its grow property to the basic sizes of left and right. So for example, it will shrink to the normal width, and then it will start shrinking more than the other two. Can you see? Now it has shrink more than the first and the second because of the 4 property. But if I make it 1 also, what do you expect now? All of them will be equal, because the shrinking is taking place according to the same ratio of 1 1 1. But if I make it 4, it means this one will shrink more, 3 times more than the other two. So it has shrink more than this one and this one. Is this clear? If I give it 1 and the first one to shrink more, for example this one, the first one is shrinking more now than the other two. Is this clear? Are you guys there? Disconnection. So we will just quickly recap what we covered. So flex shrink actually and flex grow. Is this okay now? Okay, so we will recap what we were doing before the disconnection. Flex shrink property. We already have covered what flex grow is. So the width of the container is 80% and we have 200 width for the flex basis. The columns actually, the width actually is 200 pixels. And if we open it in the browser, so if the width, take it like this, if the whole width of the screen, which is 80% right now, is more than the most wide column in the design, for example 200 pixels, so flex grow will take effect. So flex grow, let us, for the first column flex grow is 1, for the second column the flex grow value is 4. So this is that second column, so it's wider than the first and the third because of the flex grow property. Is this clear? Now if we shrink it, by shrinking means if we are on the lower screens like on tablet or mobile, so it will get reduced to its normal size first from the flex grow property, and then it will all of these three columns will start shrinking. Shrinking means less than this flex basis value. So for example, if initial value of the column is 200, shrinking means it on the lower screens it will be less than 200. That's where shrinking will start. So right now all of these the first, the second and the third one are not shrinking because we have given it a value of 1. Second and third are not shrinking 1 1 because they are 1, or maybe they are shrinking but in proportion to this lesser amount. If I make it 1, now all of these three columns will be shrinking exactly like exactly the same. They will have the same size. But for example, if I make the second one to shrink more than the first two, what I will do is I will give it a flex shrink of the second one, flex shrink of 2. Now you can see the size of the second is lesser than the first and the third by 2. Here the shrinking will start and it will shrink more than the 2. You can observe it. Say I make it 5, so it will shrink more than the first and the third by 5. So I refresh it, not refresh because live server is on. So now the size of the first and the third one are more than the second one because second one is shrinking and the other ones are not as shrinking as the second one. Is this clear? So my question now is, what's the difference between grow and shrink, and when will it take effect? That's the main question. When will the grow take effect, and when will the shrink take effect? Yeah. So actually, if there is a breakpoint, a single breakpoint of when this will apply is, for example, right now probably it's increasing, but if we reach more than 200, which is the actual flex basis of the column, it's actually on the size, not the devices or whatever. So for example, because we haven't yet used media queries for now, so if the size of the screen starts, if all the elements are of the same size, for example 200 pixels, then the grow will start effect. But if, because we have given the flex basis as 200, all of the three are of 200 pixels, so more than 200, let me just do it. So when the column sizes become more than 200 pixels, I mean when the screen can adjust more than 200 pixels of the boxes, so flex grow will take effect. And when we have to less than 200 pixels, then flex shrink will start take effect. Is this clear? In normal circumstances, because the width is 880 pixel, it is, we have just 3, so 600 pixels, we have more than 600 pixels of space. So flex grow will take effect, because there is space which can be distributed evenly between these three columns. And then if it gets reduced, so flexbox will reduce the size of the columns, and once the size gets reduced, so the shrink will take effect. I'll remove these for now. Okay, one more property. These were the wrapper properties. These will be the ones you will have to use mostly. One more property is align self. For example, I want to make the second one align dash self flex dash end. I want the second one to be on the bottom of the I want the second one to be aligned to the bottom of the container, so that's the property to use. If I want this one to be in the center and this one to be in the top, so what will I do, Shabas? The first one will be align dash self center, and this one will be this is default. So this is center, this is to the bottom, and this one is to the top in its native position. So these are for individual flex items. If there is some scenario where you want to have centering like this, that's one of the way to do it. So for example, let us quickly make an example. An image, then text, and then to the right we have a link of read more, for example. So we will create a div class is equal to, for example, t-shirt. And it has two divs. Div class is equal to sale. We'll make it be 20% off. Then we have div class is equal to description, so some paragraph, and then we have a button at the bottom, for example, which is just a link for now. By now, if we open the date, this is this one, 20% off. It has a div description and this buy now button, and I want to make the width of let's start styling it. Dot t-shirt width, say for example it is 250 pixels. So t-shirt, there is a typo here, so the width now is 250 pixels, and buy now button this. What we can do is I want this 20% off to the right, this one to the left, and this one to the right corner here. So anybody, what I should do? Okay, let us give one more for the t-shirt image also. Div class is equal to t-shirt dash image, and here we will be using one image. So this is t-shirt, this is the text, and for now we will just make the image a bit smaller, so, and we can practice those image related classes here as well, but for now we will give the dot t-shirt. One thing, I will give you a lecture on writing proper CSS as well. So we have t-shirt, all the styling of this portion of HTML code should lie inside dot t-shirt, so that it is not going to affect other portions of the site. So dot t-shirt, it has a width of, for example, sorry, dot t-shirt image, this width is say 150 pixels. So this is 150 pixels now, and it is maintaining aspect ratio because we are not going to give any height to it. If we have to specify some height, then aspect ratio will be broken. So this is one column, this is another column. How can I move the two columns into its own? There is this is one column and this is another column. These are a lot of stuff. What actually I will do is I will make a wrapper, sub wrapper for it. So I will cut it. Div class is equal to let me just fix this type of a t-shirt. This will be t-shirt dash text dash wrapper. and I will paste all of this again. This is a div t-shirt text wrapper. This is an image, and inside this we have a sale, we have description, and we have buy now. I hope this is clear now. If I refresh the page and go to inspect, this is one div. The wrapper is t-shirt, then we have one div of t-shirt image, and then another div of t-shirt text wrapper, and then inside the text wrapper we have these sale, description, and buy now items. Is it fine? Okay, so now my question is, how can I move the image to the left and the text to the right? Anybody? On t-shirt. Okay, and let us make the t-shirt a bit wider as well. So we will make it 500 pixels for now. So just with this magical property of display flex, we can achieve that. That's it. Is this fine? If I inspect it now and give a background, a dummy background to the this one, so you can see this is with 500 display effects. If I need to have some gap, so I can just specify, for example, 50 pixel gap, so it will be to the right or left or whatever, but we don't need any gap for now. Now I will move the 200 to the right and by now also to the right, and this one will be in its own position. So it can be done via variety of ways, but right now, just to practice self align, we will make this container also as display flex. Yeah, and we will make it move to the right, align right. Let's practice it via one or two ways. Okay, so for now, if I just make it flex, let us see what happens. We had to make it flex, that's why I have given a wrapper of this, so that all of these are flexed also. So we will copy the CSS class and move it to make it flex. So 20% off buy now, and this. What we can do is change the order a bit. That's fine. Maybe move the text to the, so let us practice it now. We have sale, description, and buy. So inside, yeah, that's one of the ways. Yes, you are right. So in dot text wrapper dot sale, what we can do is the first one is sale. Let me just give, yes, 20% off. So align dash self. Good. And this one will be, this is end already, so we need to make it what's the class? Bye. Right? And then you can give all the CSS styling for the links as well as any background images or colors or whatever to these two items. So for now this is okay probably. The next is if in case I have to move make everything of it a flex also, what I will do now. I mean I need a column of 3 separate shirts with the same styling. So let us try it. We will give one giant wrapper to everything. I will just cut it for now, and div class is equal to t-shirts dash wrapper, and inside it we will paste it once, 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 times, and just make t-shirts wrapper a display flex property at the top. Now a question, why is it all appearing in one line? Shabas. Why are all of Shabas? Well done. Flex dash wrap wrap. Now, can anybody tell me why is it in 2 columns now? Exactly, it has a width. So if I click on control minus, you can see if the screen gets larger it will be in 3 columns then. But if it is because the flex width is fixed width, we can make it in percentage also. The where is it? This one. So if we make it 33%, and it should be flex dash basis. So now all of them are in the same columns, in 3 columns, right? Is this fine? Are you guys there? Okay. So I hope this is clear today. What we have studied is because you need to practice a lot, we have studied flex basis. One thing I forgot, if there is a shortcut for flex rapes, for example, I want something to display in flex dash flow. This is shortcut for direction and the wrap property. So if you want to give both the same, for example, you want this something to appear in column and it should wrap, so you can have one property for it. Similarly, if you, for example, give a property of flex, so it will be flex basis, flex grow, and flex shrink. So in just one line you can give these three properties. So for example, I want an element to have 200 pixel flex basis, 4 as grow, and 2 as shrink. So this will be the property. Rather than writing 3 lines of code, in one line you can have these three. Is this all clear now? Okay, so this is what we have studied: flex grow, flex property, flex basis, flex shrink, and the flex column property, mostly you use it in responsive design. On mobile you make it either not as flex or as column, so that's mostly use flex direction column or flex direction row. So if something is appearing, for example, if this is appearing in rows in on desktop, on mobile you will make them appear in rows. We will practice it in the proper layout we will be building, inshallah. Right now this is shrinking and going to the next line, which is not fair. So in responsive design, for example, if we are going to reduce the screen here, for example, we will make it appear in one column. Let us do it quickly. Do it now. At the bottom we will create at media, so for example, max dash width is equal to 500 pixels or 480. What's missing here? Max why is this bracket here? Sorry. Yes, we are missing the and actually. Okay, so max width 480 pixel. This media query will this is for responsive design. So up to the max width of 480 we want to have some changes to the CSS styles. So here t-shirts wrapper, sorry, not the t-shirts wrapper, the t-shirts wrapper display flex and flex dash wrap. Here we will make it we will copy the rule here and we will change the direction to display, sorry, flex dash direction column. So on max width 480 to the size of 480, what we want is to this is already display flex, but flex direction should be column. So where is it now? If we reduce it to 480 or something, this is t-shirt, sorry, the t-shirt. We have to change this to t-shirts. Now it is in one column. If it moves beyond 480, it becomes two columns, and so on. This is three columns. Below 480 it will be one column. If we click on inspect, there is an option for, say, iPad Pro. The width is 1024. If we make it iPhone, and reduce the now it's fine. You can center these things on mobile, but now it all is appearing in the same rows. But if it is more than, for example, an iPad, now it's in the three columns. You can reduce it to two columns. In this all we will practice while we are doing responsive designs. For now, just bear this in mind. But for example, if you have to change something from the rows to the columns, this is mostly happening in responsive designs. So max width 480, there will be a shift in the direction of the flex for both the t-shirt as well as the dot t-shirts wrapper. That's all for today. Thank you so much. In the next lecture, we will continue with some of the bugs we have in this design, and the next week we will create a full-fledged design from Figma into HTML with all the skills we have learned so far. Thank you so much.